Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Sound Talk Show. Today's topics is emacs. Why does emacs not have a search files in directory feature? Why does it? Does it or does it not? We are going to find out. And a bunch of associated problems with that. Emacs, yeah, searching files in a directory. Not searching files in one single file, but in a directory. That is what we are going to focus on today. Okay, excuse me. Let's see if I'm live. Okay, I'm live, and so we wait. So we wait for a few minutes for at least one people to come on, and then meanwhile, let's talk about this keyboard. So this is a new keyboard. Uh, it's a do-it-yourself keyboard. This one is from Japan, and you know what's interesting is that it's the entire or every key. The shape of a key is a hexagon, so the entire key arrangement is in this honeycomb grid or triangular. It's also called triangular grid. So that's interesting about that. But as you can see, when you put your fingers on it, basically your middle finger is gonna be half a key higher than the index finger or ring finger, okay? And your pinky will be half a key, half a key lower. So index finger is half a key higher, and pinky is half a key lower. Um, and you can see different angles of the keyboard. Um, So this arrangement, in the middle finger half a key higher and pinky one half a key lower, is this a optimal arrangement? Is this a good ergonomic arrangement? That is the question. If because if it is, let's say if it is the most optimal, you know, arrangement as far as flat surface keyboard is concerned, if it is optimal for that case, then this keyboard will be excellent. It will be one of the excellent because first of all it's got this optimal arrangement. But so as I tried to answer that question. I think the answer is no. That is not a optimal arrangement. It's most likely it's just a fun arrangement because of the hexagons. Because hexagons, for some reason, has high, has strong association with in science fiction, in particular. Hexagons. They always look like so sci-fi. So why is this arrangement, the middle finger half a key higher and pinky one half a key lower, why is that arrangement bad? Well, because I look at all the existing ergonomic keyboard designs, and for many of them, they also raise the middle finger position, and they also lower the middle finger key position. Let's look at some examples. So by looking at all these examples, some of these people, for example, this guy who created this keyboard, who goes by the name of Ober, I think. Yeah, I think Ober on Twitter and elsewhere. His name is I got his name somewhere on this page. But anyway, the creator of this keyboard, um, you can also see that the middle column, the column for middle finger, which one? Wait, am I like a bit stoned? Because anyway, so the middle finger, what's going on? Yeah, the middle finger is here. You can see also they are not exactly higher back, actually a little bit. They also have they are not totally flat, but anyway, there is a this layout in diagram you can see. So you can see that the middle finger is, just a tiny bit higher, but the pinky, wait, this is the middle. Okay, so okay, the middle is not, somewhat okay, higher than, like a quarter higher than the ring finger key. Okay, so the middle finger key is a quarter key length than the ring finger key, and the pinky is about exactly half key lower. So for the pinky part, we got confirmation because this guy has spent a lot of time designing the keyboard. So we can say his judgment is probably good. So pinky one have a key lower, so that we can confirm. Okay, that's good. But the middle key, do we ever have an example where the middle key is have a key higher? Let's look. Let me show you. Fun keyboards, do it yourself keyboards. We have an example here. You can see. So this keyboard is called the Verge 3. You can see the middle column. Okay, it's not like one half key higher. No. And also we can see orthodox. So the middle finger is a bit higher, about 1/6 maybe, 1/6 of a key length or width. So 1/6 higher, but no more, not half a key higher. So you can see various examples they design. They don't, the middle key. I've never seen any. I don't think I ever seen a keyboard where the middle key is as much as half a key higher. Let's look at some more examples maybe. Okay, you can see here, you see not much. Then you have ergo dash, so usually the pinky is a bit lower, but of all the keyboard I've ever seen, the lowest the pinky go is by half a key, like the keyboard IO. Yeah, keyboard IO is one of the most extreme. So yeah, so our conclusion about this arrangement is that it's probably okay. It's not very bad for sure, but it's probably nowhere near the optimal as well. For the reason that the middle key is half as high, half a key higher than the rest, than your ring finger or index finger key. So that's about that keyboard. So okay, let's good afternoon, Isaac. So let's talk about the main topic we are going to hear today, which is this emacs issue. So this guy posted a Reddit question. He basically he says he would like, he mentioned that he found he wants emacs to be able to search files all files in a directory without using external tools, if that's possible. Basically he's raising this issue because in particular on Windows, for example, when you on Windows you want to, you heard Emacs is a great editor, you download it, you use it for a month, everything is great, but then one day you try to find the files, or find a string in order to see which file they contains a string in a directory or folder. You cannot do it with Emacs because you need to install some other programs in able to do this. The question, so he raised this issue. So this is particular on Windows. So do you think this is good? I mean, we have a text editor. Every text editor are there is there any text editor or IDE for programmers that do not let you search a string in files in a directory? You will find no such thing. They don't require you to install external libraries. Like it's not like when you go download or you pay them, you buy them, you say, oh, you download this, but by the way, you if you want need to search directories, you also need to download this module or that. There's no such thing like that. You just download the whole thing. Every text editor and the IDE has that feature built in. You know, but Emacs doesn't. Well, Emacs doesn't. Okay, now, if you are on Unix, Linux, virus, any of the Unix where Emacs came from, basically, or if you are on a Mac, which is also Unix, because since 2002, Mac OS X, you have, it's a Unix essentially. So meaning that you have, so when Emacs is running on Unix platforms, it's not a problem because on Unix platforms you have this grep command and you have this command named find. Both are Unix shell tools. It's a little textual program. So on Unix platforms you have this grep and find uh, utilities. You call them utilities. So this includes on Linux no problem, on Mac no problem. So in practice, it's not a problem for Emacs. But if Emacs is running on Windows, it is a problem. When you don't have this grep and find, then you cannot use Emacs to search files in a directory. But on Linux, you have grep and find utilities. So Emacs will actually call them. Like in Emacs, when you call grep, let's see. I mean, okay, this is my Emacs file, Emacs blog. So I'm going to do a call grep. So hold on a second. Let's start command log. So you can actually see the command I call. Okay, I'm that's a good thing because since we are talking about Emacs stuff, I'm using soft key. So every now you can see all the commands I call on the left window. So I'm going to tell. Okay, so let's call grep. So mx grep, grep, and I call it, and then Emacs does a prompt. It says run grep like this. Grep dash n capital H dash null dash e. Then I have to type something. Let's say Haskell. Okay. Um, so I'm trying to search Haskell in all files in this directory. My Emacs directory. So this directory's got 800 files. Oh, why is it taking so long? Because I forgot to use I forgot to filter out all image files. Oh man, there are a lot of image files and possibly even video files. So it's gonna take a while. Actually, let's stop it. Anyway, I forgot what's the syntax to filter out because I haven't been using grep for a long time now. So anyway, this is how it works. You see, what happens is that when you call grep is, by the way, also a Emacs command. So when you mx grep, Emacs will call the Unix external utility grep to actually do the job. Locate the file that string is contained. Then it returns a list of files. Then what Emacs does is that Emacs takes the grep's output, show it in your Emacs buffer, and color them. And you can also they put properties to the text, so you can, for example, you can click to jump to the location of the file. You just open the file. So this is grep. Let me I'm trying. I want to stop this and redo, but except the problem is that I forgot what's the grep command to filter out HTML files. I mean, I don't want image files. I only want HTML files. Good morning, Danielle. Hey, do you guys know what is the grep option to? I only want .html files. To specify a file suffix. I'm not even sure grep can do that. But anyway, back to the topic. Okay. So in Emacs, when you want to search a string in all files in a directory, when you want to search a directory, Emacs requires you to Emacs uses the external Unix utility grep and also find. In lots of Emacs commands, you'll often see that Emacs needs one or both of these. Okay, so this is so and so this guy made a Reddit post and he's raising the issue. Uh, and I because I also run into this problem. I do find replace all the time. So I have written a package find. You can see linked here. That does the find searching a directory written in pure emacs lisp. So once you install this package, you don't need to install Unix grep or find. Uh, and uh, so I have this find.el package written in emacs lisp. And okay, so this guy is raising the issue. But then there are like two people mostly. They vote. Basically, they don't. They want to say something else. They want to suggest like something else is better. Okay, and I think I disagree. Like they are kind of pushing. I think they are some of these people are pushing for a ideology, and two aspect of it. One ideology they want to push is kind of the open source. They want to push it. The other part of the thing I see they are pushing is that they want to try to tell you a right way. Like I talked about many times, this elite type of people, they are trying to impart, they want to tell you to do something in certain way because they think that is better. So on the whole issue, I think the I'm going to tell you why uh, they are this is a critical problem. This is a problem. Emacs relying on external tools to search a directory is a major. It's such a obvious problem. It should be corrected. Okay, this is one of the reasons Emacs is not popular among many other reasons. Like every time someone says, "Oh, Emacs, we should do," Emacs is not popular, and people then they are curious. Usually, these open source fans they would say, "Oh, I'm curious, but what is a possible suggestion to fix?" To get Emacs more popular. They are genuine and honest. They are sincere. They are curious, but to me, I think they are in a code. They don't know it. Okay, so you can get out of it if you really try to look. Even you'll get out of it. And so to me, it's like this problem Emacs rely on external program. It's absolutely to any dummy, okay, should be able to know this is a problem. This is a usability problem. This is a problem for advancing your software. You don't tell people to download a text editor. Then when they want to search some string in a directory, you say, "Oh, because you need that other module you need to install." That's a bad thing. Okay, so I don't. So these people apparently they don't see this problem. In fact, they are directive. They are like they are telling you, no, you should. It's a better way to on Windows, you need to. There are many implementations, by the way. You should go install them, and it will be much faster. Besides, because these are custom written and so on. Blah blah blah. Like it's all. So in my opinion, it's like all totally, utterly wacko opinions. It's not. They are. Uh, Fact are not facts, and it's just totally wrong. But to them, I can tell. You can tell from their the way they say things. Okay, there are like about 20 messages you can read. So from their perspective, you can tell by their tone and attitude that they think they think Ksali, this Ksali package is just wrong. Okay, it's not the right thing. They tell you should do this or that. So we got this issue. So we can see the opinions differ. Okay. So, but I'm going to put my point of view. I'm going to explain why the Emacs, this Emacs relying on the several detailed reasons about why this is a bad thing. Relying on other external tools. By the way, first of all, it's no big deal, okay? Because Emacs, because we have to also consider the history of things and the social context. Emacs, it's a the history. I mean, basically, Emacs is implemented for Unix. And for the first 10 20 years, it's primarily used on Unix platforms. And also, Emacs is almost the number one project of the GNU Foundation, GNU software of Free Software Foundation. The they want the idea of free software. It's their gospel. They want to spread that. And Microsoft is their enemy, ideology enemy, because free software hates the Microsoft proprietary and claiming other things. So in this situation, since Emacs it came from GNU, from the Free Software Foundation, of course they may not about running Emacs on Windows. You have to install other programs to do basic things. Maybe they don't care. That's reasonable. Because they want you to use the Linux or GNU thing. They don't want you to use Windows. But however, they provide you a Emacs for Windows if you want. Then you run into problems, and it gives them an opportunity to spread their gospel, to tell you, hey, by the way, we are proponent of free software, so maybe you should consider Linux. Then Emacs will be much faster and smoother. You don't have these various minor problems. So it's understandable, given the background, social backgrounds, that Emacs does not work out of the box, so to speak, to be able to search files in a directory. That's understandable. But what I'm saying is that the whole thing is just no good. Okay, I mean, yeah, for example, on Unix, why does Emacs not bundle its own search directory features? Because first of all, in practice, everything just already works, because every Unix where Emacs runs, have grep and find. It's like 100%. It's not, you always have the program. There's no problem. So practically speaking, you don't actually need to code or write another module within Emacs to do that. So that is why So on this issue, I'm not particular saying that Emacs should kind of take grep and find, make it internal or things like that. But it's actually a very good thing. Okay, I would even say it will make Emacs much more popular, especially on Windows. Maybe okay, the GNU people, the Free Software Foundation people, they don't care about the Windows. They prefer the fact that Emacs on Windows will become very lousy. They actually they intentionally actually do that. This is no secret. They talked about it all the time. They intentionally want the Emacs on Windows version to be inferior. Same thing for Mac. Their primary Emacs platform is Linux for now. Actually, it's Herd. Anyway, so I'm not saying that I'm not saying that we actually should that we must Emacs must bundle its own search file search the I'm not saying that but it's very nice to have. Okay, it would be very nice. And let me start to discuss the problems. Okay, so yeah, include, right? That's the that is option. When you use grep, you want only .html files. Then you can say dash dash include. I have everything. I know the details of that very much because I explain everything in detail in this article. So I'm just going to talk over about this article. This article is problems of calling Unix script in Emacs. This is written in 2011, the first version. So I'm saying, Emacs, the fact Emacs, the way when you call grep in Emacs or find in Emacs, you run more than one issue, not just, okay, this program is stuck. Let me quit it, kill it. There are many issues, not just the fact that external tools may not exist, not just that, but there's the interface between Emacs and grep. The Lots of problems. Let me start to explain. Okay, the first problem is external program problem. We already covered. This is bad for Windows in practice. In Windows, it's not easy. Okay, it's not really that easy to just install a GNU util or diff, and expect that Emacs will just work with it, right away. No, you're gonna spend, if you are lucky and if you are very technical programmer, then maybe within half an hour you can do it. Otherwise, you're gonna spend an hour at least. You have on Windows, first of all, which one to download. You have Sigwin, you have you have the others. There you have quite a few options. Then you try them, you explore them, you got frustrated, something doesn't seems to work right. On the other hand, you may not, you are not a Emacs rejects expert, because Emacs rejects is different from others. So maybe you something you don't know, you are not too sure, because you just end up spending like hours. Then maybe you think, oh, maybe then I should try, the virtual box. Maybe I just run, Emacs in a virtual box. That's kind of the road people go through, the path. Normally this happens to every programmer. We see, you see it in Stack Overflows. Like, oh, I tried to do this, but then that, anyway. So that's external program is a problem. Okay, it's a, it's kind of, it's like a practical one. That, like every commercial entity, especially those who really want to make money. Okay, they, meaning that they really want their product to be loved. If you are, this is number one concern. Every application, they always include, bundle everything as much as possible, and necessarily so, without becoming a bloat. But actually, as you know, most commercial software, they become bloat anyway. They just include everything. Not just that, but also bloated. Sometimes duplicate, things, components in their software. So you have to download 500 megabytes or gigabytes, except browser. Okay, but anyway, except browser, because browser today they try to pack it so small, yet a browser's functionality is like 10 times more than emacs. 10 times is a understatement. The browser's features, functionality, or implement difficulty, or the complexity of the protocols involved, the languages, the compiler, the parser, and also the networking system connecting to the internet. The whole thing, the browser is like 100 times. I don't, if we can give it a quantity, no, more complex, more difficult to do, more functionality than emacs. So okay. Anyway, so what? I digressed. Okay, we are talking about browser because browser is example very competitive, and is an example where they tried to include everything in one package. Like today they can even read PDF files. You can open image files. You can, they don't ask you, like browser don't ask you, oh, if you want to be able to see images, please download this plugin. you know so anyway, that, I don't want to get too far because then we become fuzzy, and every question, everything I said is debatable. But anyway, so external program problem. Actually, so let me take a break, read the comments, okay? Because so I get a pause and I can, refocus where we are. So I'm going to keep continuing explaining the problems of coding grep in Emacs. Lots of problems. You have Unicode problems. You have, rejects problems. You have parsing problems, and you have the interface, like the Unix prompt problem. Like if you are an Emac user but you don't necessarily know Unix, like who maybe in the 1970s, 80s, but today you don't expect someone to say download a browser and expect him to know what is some technical stuff. But on Emacs, when you want to search a directory, you have to understand that grep interface. Like I forgot what's the syntax for grep to filter out certain files by extension. I forgot. And most people, they are not Unix experts. When Emacs prompts you that grep thing, let's try it again. Let's look at it. This grep dash n capital H dash dash null dash. Do I remember them? No. And in fact, every Unix system, their options are different. You have the GNU versions, you have the BSD grep, you have before you have, in Asian fgrep, and then you have Mac version. Okay, Mac version is BSD, I guess. But anyway, and these options, they so it's a problem. I don't know. I don't remember what these cryptic options. Let's say I'm interested in Emacs, not necessarily. I don't want to learn Unix script, for example, as an example. And also in Emacs, the regular expression is different from all the other languages. Emacs regular expression. So I every day, I type, list matching lines. Okay, list matching lines Haskell. Let's say, for example. Okay, and actually I can say list matching lines H A and period SK. Okay, that will search for any word HA wildcard SK. Okay, I'm doing that. What? List matching lines regular expression. Oh, okay, so that's right, I got it wrong. So let's say because there's no such found. So let's say HA wildcard K. Okay, so we got lots of lines, including Haskell. Oh, just thanks, hacker. Okay, hack, thanks, and thanks Haskell. Okay, also Haskell. So we are using a regular expression when we call list matching lines. There are a lot of emacs commands that also use regular expressions, and they are all emacs list regular expressions. Okay, emacs regular expressions, which is different from the grep regular expressions. So when you try to find files in a directory, suddenly Emacs pops up this grep prompt. Like, what are those? You don't understand what they are. But even if you do, then the regular expression you're gonna use is not the Emacs version you are used to. So in this one text editor, you have to learn two regular expressions. Like one is for Emacs, when Emacs call Emacs internal command. Then the other is the when Emacs call a external command. You have like two version of requests. That is a problem. That's one of the problem. Okay, no external tool is a problem. We explained. I mean, dependent on the external program is a problem we explained. And the other problem we also explained, the regular expression is not compatible to Emacs regex. So when you depend on the external grep, you essentially require the user to learn a different regex than the Emacs regex. Okay, and dependence on familiarity of Unix shell syntax, we already explained. Like most people, unless they are Unix hackers, they don't know what the fuck is these options. And as I mentioned, the option changes on each depending on where you download your Emacs, or depending on whether your Emacs is on Mac or on Linux, or what distribution. It changes. So when you are using Emacs, every time you do mx grep, you'll get, depending on which platform you are, the option will be slightly different. Like, so if I'm working on Macs, but sometimes I do on Windows and Unix, Linux, right, and Solaris before. So I haven't used Linux for a while, but if today I do, then suddenly the grep option is different. Then I have to look up, oh, what are that options are. Look up man page. Then that's the entire thing, because grep is kind of the Unix esoteric. I mean, it's technical. It's for programmers. Okay, it's not a lot. Emacs fan like to say, oh, we are not. It's not just for programmers. A lot Emacs, non-programmers, writers also like to use Emacs. For writing novels and so on. But then in this example, you can see if you depend on external grep, you are requiring them to like pick up quite a lot of rather technical things. The Unix grep option, and then because it's the nature of Unix, then you have to man page, so-called man page it. Then it's like direct to hell. Okay, there's no escape. Starting to read man pages. Okay, so we already mentioned several problems. I'm gonna talk about the others, but let me read the comments. Good morning, Base. So Base, you just arrived. So let me read the comments. So Daniel has said a lot of things. He provided the grep option. It's bad, Unix grep and fine. I tell you right now, that's one of the major issue with the Unix philosophy. I'm starting to swear, but I thought, in this video, I try not to do that because, there are other people involved. So anyway, I talk about this topic theme often, and often people ask me too about the Unix philosophy. This is a very good example, impromptu example of how Unix philosophy. One of the things they say is that things should do one thing well. Okay, everything should do one thing well. And small is beautiful. Okay, and do one thing well. So does Unix utilities do one thing well. No, they do not do it well. And then that is what, okay, let me explain this. So this is a good example. Grep is a tool to search to locate a string in a file. Now if you want to grep a whole directory, now Unix you have another tool which is called find. Okay, Unix utility find. The purpose of that is exactly to traverse directories. So you will visit every file in a directory or subdirectories. That's the exact purpose. So if you are thinking, by the general pattern of Unix, okay, you combine commands, to you chain them together, so every command do one thing very well, and you can combine another command that do another thing very well. You chain them together, they become very powerful. This is actually a idea of functional programming. It's called composition. Okay. uh, I have written rants about this topic, like 10 more than 10 essays. So I'm just going to point them out, so you could read them if you want. So this article is called "The Nature of Unix Philosophy." Actually, not this article. I'm going to show you another article. Uh, okay, this one. Unix pipe as functional language. This is actually one of the origin. Alfred Aho said that he's the inventor of Oak. Alfred A is his name in Oak, the Unix utility. So he actually said the Unix pipe is based on the idea of functional composition. Okay, that's what he said. So, but so back again, the Unix says, small is powerful, and you combine programs together. Small, do one thing well. But does Unix command do one thing well? No. Example, grep and find. So by the ideology of Unix philosophy, what should happen is that grep does not have the option to should not have the option to search a directory, because that's not his job. His job is only search a string in a file. Then you have the find utility, whose job is to go through many files. So you combine them. But that's not the case actually. So grep actually do provide very cumbersome, idiotic own options. This is true for like every Linux commands. Like each one, they don't do one thing well at all. But then they have like 100 more options that do wildly various things that other programs also do. So it's like the syntax is not consistent. Some one dash, two dash, or dash letter. Like I explained in this article in detail. You can see about the syntax abuse, like ambiguous, like totally, ambiguous, programmatically ambiguous. The Unix command line syntax, and it's just like a huge noodles, syntax soup and semantic noodle. Okay, so it doesn't. So grep and find. So okay, so if you have grep and you have find, you combine them. That's perfect, right? Yeah, ideally, but not the way in Unix, in Linux, for example. Find, it is so fucking stupid. Find now has its own option to call a command, okay, but not using the Unix pipe, which is the connection between every small programs. Find has its own option, like dash e to execute, okay. Then you put a command that's find's internal command, not external, okay, not grep. So so find has, but how many commands are there just for find to do? Not many. Like you have delete. I think that's it. So according to the Unix philosophy, what find should do is really just just go through directories and each visit each worker directory. That's it. Then you pipe, use pipe mechanism or some other general to, then you can delete a file or you can grep the file or you can whatever. That's ideal. Then everything will be beautiful. You compose things together. That's not the case. You have grep, you have find, and and also, yeah, that particular thing, it's extremely ugly. Fuck, okay, for fucked up. Xarc is another one of the more complex thing, and it's often required, in fact, to use in combination with find. Okay, so the Unix, the Unix philosophy, it's so that is why I say since like 20 years ago, Unix, C programming C language and Unix are the father of everything that sucks in computer programming industry. They are the bad design. They spread the idea of bad design, virus, crap like voodoo. The nature of Unix philosophy. So we are almost done. Let's show what is that. Technomancy. Technomancy is a guy who created the keyboard, and he's also the keyboard. Let me show you. Technomancy. Technomancy is the guy who created this. Wait, I can remember the name. Author, no author. So Technomancy also created the emacs closure. Atrius, okay, Atrius. He created the Atrius keyboard. He's also a Emacs user and Emacs Lisp programmer expert. He created the closure, the package for closure in Emacs. He also created, he helped at least, but he also created by himself the Lenigan, which is the closure installation packages. So actually, I have lots of tutorials on these. So let me show you. Xali closure. Cider, yeah, Cider is the package name for Emacs to do closure stuff. So let me show you some articles I've written. So closure Lenigan is the closure's installation tool, like and Technomancy wrote it, and so I have a tutorial about that. But this is like 4 years ago, though. I'm not sure how much has changed. So Lenigan, closure Lenigan. Then you have closure Cider. Cider is a package for Emacs to interface closure and also for closure mod. So you can run closure code inside Emacs interactively, which is very good, by the way. And now it's maintained by the other guy, also very popular, the projectile author. Okay, so that's Emacs Cider and Lenigan closure. So because we are mentioning them because they are all created by this Technomancy guy. So let's look up what's this Daniel's link. So Technomancy, he's obviously a very expert, very good programmer. Expert of Linux, no, expert of Emacs Lisp, of Closure, and also and also Lua. He's doing Lua programming language, and it seems like he likes it. I don't know anything about Lua, but anyway, by the way, Sasha also has video interview of Technomancy. You might check it out. His real name is Phil Hagelberg. On his GitHub. Yeah. So Yeah, so you might check out his stuff. It's interesting. Um, so let me get back to the why Emacs relying on grep is a problem. There are I think two more small things I want to mention. Then I'm going to read the comments. Um, okay, so problem coding. Okay, so Unix shell quote escape problem. So let me just summarize. So external, well, let me just say Unix shell quote escape problem. That's another problem. Okay, for example, if you are trying to grab some regular expression, let's say, um, okay, let's go to my Emacs blog, and let's go to regex. Okay, so I open a file that contains my Emacs regular expression tutorial for Emacs Lisp. So let's see, I want to grab this line. Okay, let's say I want to grab this line. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I know there's a string of text because in my file I have that string of text, which is this text happens to be a regular expression string. Okay, it's a regular expression syntax. But I don't care about that. All I care right now is that I want to find out in all my websites, 5,000 files. I want to find out if another file of my file contains this string. Okay, so what you gonna do? Okay, you call grep, right? In Emacs, the normal way you call grep. And how you gonna pass this? How you gonna pass? Now, if you just pass directly this string, it's gonna choke because there are many escapes you have to deal with. So how do you do that? It's essentially it's very difficult. It's impossible. Okay, one way to do it is to put this text you want to search into a file, like save it. Like right now, I save it. Let's say xx.txt. Okay, I saved this file. Then I call grep. I don't know, remember what's the syntax, but there's an option that, a file option. So you specify a file name. And in this file name is a string or regular expression that grep will use to search, the string. But it's a problem, because I don't want to save to a file first. That's a major step. That's a major thing. So whenever you have a string you want to search, it doesn't matter whether you want to just plain text search or regular expression search. When you have a string that involves lots of backslashes or quote, you have a problem of calling external tool grep because the interface, the quote to unquote them, it's practically impossible to solve. All these backslash and quote and different shells, they have different syntax. So that is a problem. By the way, this is not just a theoretical problem. Okay, I run into this problem. I like right now I cannot do it unless I save this line into a file. Like sometimes when you have to do your work in a day job, you have to search files many times. You don't have time to. Each time you search a file, you have to save the file save the regular expression in a file. That's silly. Yeah, I run into these problems. Like I try to search, you cannot. It's just not. Sometimes it's for example, let's look at this my Emacs file. Emacs this regular expression tutorial. Then this line is a JavaScript code. That's part of the Google Ads thing. JavaScript code. A tracker. Every website use it. Okay, so don't worry. Any website you visit, you will have a Google tracker with it. So the purpose of that is, it tells you statistics about how many people visit your page, things like that. And Google also provide like male, female, what age group, things like that, because that's a big business, multi-billion dollar business marketing. So anyway, so I'm sure you use a lot of you, if you are blogging, you probably are, already, you know what it is. You are using Google trackers, Google Analytics to help you get a view of how, who is visiting your site, like how busy. So so you have to have this code in every file, basically, if you want to track that file. Okay, so but let's say I forgot, I want to make sure every file contains this string. So what I have to do, I have to search this string. I have to search this complicated JavaScript code. How can you then you have a problem with external grep, because then it's gonna be very difficult to quote these single quote, double quote, slashes or backslashes that may exist there. That's a problem. But if it's all built in Emacs, it's not a problem. For example, let me show you. Okay, for example, let's just okay, let's copy the whole line. Let's not save. I did something wrong here. Okay, so let me show you how I have my tools. Okay, let me show you. So I call this find text command, and I just paste the whole complicated string, multi-line JavaScript code, and I say enter. It asks me which directory I want to find. Okay, that directory, and .html files. Enter. Then it prints all existence, all files, containing that string. I don't have to worry about quoting and stuff. So this is my find package we mentioned. So you can see all these files, like about 800 of them, and I can press enter, just open that page at that location. So that is why all this is written in emacs Lisp. I did that to solve these problems. So okay, so that's one problem, where when you have complicated string. Another problem is that when you have Unicode non-ASCII characters in your search string. For example, uh, as you know, I have these. Let's go here. I have this Unicode website where you can see all the Unicode emojis or other symbols. Suppose I want to find if, okay, so let's copy that. Let's go to my Unicode file directory. This is the directory. Okay, let's go to the directory. So you can see all these files are Unicode stuff. They correspond to each of these pages. Now, but I'm wondering if maybe I have one of the characters duplicated somewhere. So let's copy this character. Let's say hospital. Copy it, go to Emacs, then search. I want to find this hospital character in all files in this directory. So normally I just do grep, right? I mean, you would normally do grep. So let's see if we can do that. I paste the hospital, enter. Oh, I forgot, because again, it's trying to search all image files, and as we know, last time it's take 10 minutes and still running. Close. Okay, let's close it. Shit, kill it. Yes. Okay. So that's a external tool problem. I rather just use something built in. So let's try it again using my find command. Then it's done. Within 2 seconds, it's done. So all these So I have these files highlighted in pink. That shows the that shows the character. I can press enter, and you can see in this blog post I can show in browser. In this my blog back in 2015, I have mentioned that hotel character somewhere here. So let's see, places emoji. Yeah, they right there. You can see that. Kind of motel symbol. Okay, close that. So that's the problem of the grep. Okay. So in summary, let's just make a summary, and that'll be it for this topic. External program problem. For example, on Windows, you need to install it. That's a problem. Unix shell code escape problem. Okay. Dependence on familiarity of Unix shell syntax. That's a problem. Regular expression not compatible to Emacs regular expression. That's a problem. Unix string problem. When you have Unicode, like you cannot rely on grep processing it correctly because the issue is complicated. Because Emacs first have to pass the argument to the shell script, and when you have an ASCII code, sometimes encoding or escape is involved. That's complicated. So sometimes it will pass through the grep wrongly, or for some. And also, when grep finds all the occurrences, it returns to Emacs. Emacs takes its input. Again, you have to deal with non-ASCII characters, and that is often a source of the problem because during this communication, characters get fucked up. Because Unicode is especially. I mean, I'm even today it's a problem. I think, for example, there is this actually a bug. Um, okay, I have a lot more. I have like 5 more reasons. Okay, but I'm not going to go through them. You can see on the screen, or just yeah, you can read it offline. So that's it. Yeah, that's it about that topic. You really got lots of problem, but some for odd reasons, you have people saying that, oh, it's no problem, and this or that. But by the way, they are. I have been searching. I've been trying to determine whether there exist features in Emacs that allows you to search directories, written in Emacs Lisp. Actually, I never got a firm answer on that. I think the times I spent, basically the answer is no, but I was never 100% sure. And in this thread, someone mentioned multi-occur. Let's go to my Emacs blog. So people has mentioned several packages. Well, I mean commands: multi-occur, multi-isearch, project find regex. So I have to look for. I don't know now. Project find replace rejects. Is that a let's see if that is that built in? Let's do describe function. Let's see. Project find file is an interactive autoload compile function in project.el. So let's visit project.el. Where does project.el came from? Okay, project.el is part of Emacs. So project find file says visit the file when in current project's roots. Oh, so that does that, but remember the question is, does it rely on the external tool? So actually I have to, it's gonna take a while to look into that. But in the past, of the times I've spent, basically the answer is yes. They did, I have not found a emacs lisp implementation yet. Um, let's try multi-occur. Let's see what the heck. So multi-occur is an interactive compiled Lisp function in replace.el. Okay, let's go to replace.el and let's see the code. Uh, it's calling occur. I think it is calling occur. Occur is basically just list matching lines. So obviously, yes, obviously, so Emacs can search directories. All you have to do is actually just call list matching lines on each file. And yeah, but is that what multi-occur is actually doing, or is it calling grep? I don't know. We have to look into. So I was planning to do this, to try to find them in real time, but I think we already talked long today. 1 hour 5 minutes. So should I like do? So I'm going to answer the comments. Okay, read the comments. Then the next question is, should I, like do a live streaming of trying to determine whether Emacs has built in search the command. Okay, let me read the comments. So Danielle says, by the way, for project management and quick access to project files in Emacs, there is this on GitHub. Find file. Oh yeah. Okay, I know. I heard of that. I don't. So that is probably good. To it's probably a good program, but I have my own find, so I don't. I don't need. Uh, I don't need those others. You can try mine. You give it a shot. Centennial says works on Windows. Yeah, okay. Uh, okay, so it works on blah blah blah, and the only dependency is BSD GNU find. Then that makes it worthless in our context. That's a point. So Daniel says, once I experimented with using AG from inside Emacs, there is a AG.el 5 to 10 times faster than ACK. Okay. Yeah, so these days, since 10 years ago, you have lots of grep replacements, and each one claims to be faster than the predecessor. So you have the ACK. I think that was the first. I have an article on that, listing them all. But then the 2 years, 3 years ago, you have this AG kind of, claim to be, oh wait, I'm the fast of them all. Before ACK is like, I'm the fastest. There are at least three of them well known, like replacing each other. But that's very good. But today, so we can see that's one example of how technology is advancing in society. I mean, literally, we have exponential growth in sciences, in engineering, and this terrible, scary AI is happening. And one example of tech progress is this. Today we have like new languages every year, almost every year, or more than one languages. Not just like single person, nobody, five users language, but each one has like, let's say 1,000, a few thousand, it's like good, robust, well done, new languages every year, and usually at least 10,000 followers, and so that's quite. Let me show you article. I need to show my articles. Sorry, proliferation of languages. Okay, this page you can see some of the examples of the growth, amazing growth of new languages. Like you see all these names. So this article is proliferation of computer languages. Just search Sali, that you'll find it. And so originally this article is written in 2008 because that's when I first begin to notice. I'm trying to document my observations. It's kind of like a log, a history. Okay, so so historians may, future generation may think, oh, when did people start to perceive that language is becoming, growing a lot? Then maybe they find this article, oh, it's around 2008. At least one guy, thought of it that way. So anyway, back then, that's 2008. But today you have, for example, Vala, Genie, Factor, Phantom, CoffeeScript, Dot, TypeScript, ASM, Rust, Julia, Ometa. Ometa is old. Elm, Hex, Hackland, Edgison. What is Edgison? A pattern matching language. I forgot. Okay. Swift, Elixir, Kotlin, Nim, Nim, Pirate from the Scheme Lisp guy. They, they, the fact you have Pirate, which is basically Python, Lisp in Python syntax. Okay, that's like the nature of Pirate. That's from the Racket people, Racket Scheme Lisp people. The very fact you have Pirate means that it means that they gave up on Lisp. Then you have pure script, P language, Lean, Cake ML, and you have a lot more. I start to get tired of adding to this page because it's like you have to just keep writing it. So many languages. So back to, yeah. So that's one example of the advance of technology, and also shell. You have like a fish. You have like these fancy shells every few years now. But then again, like we have came to the point where like we start to find them to be noise. Like we don't need another language anymore. We don't need another grep. We don't really need another bash or another interactive shell. Like people get tired. Once you learn this, tomorrow there's a new thing like 10 times better. You don't need it. I don't need it. You see, that's one of the problem of this today's situation. Uh, you know, so maybe next year, after 2 years, another grep will replace AG. So Danielle says, let me go back, keep reading the comments. C sharp has a pretty optimistic future. Uh, So Danielle says, of course, searching using git grep are fast and already know to skip anything in GitHub. Oh yeah, GitHub. Git. Many people are starting to use Git in replacing the traditional Unix tools. I haven't tried git grep, but I've tried git diff. Like using git diff instead of the diff. Uh, Such a git repo like Ninja. Emacs users have VC git repo. Yeah. Uh, so Thomas Wall says, "Are you still here? I haven't seen your comment before." So Thomas Wall says, "What's your view on C# programming language?" Oh, C#. I don't know any. I don't know any C# at all. I don't know C. I don't know C++. I don't know C#. I typically don't know low-level languages. The only exception you might say is I know Java. Uh, I know Java and I know Golang. That's the lowest level languages I know. So C# community is quite strong. So Base says, I'm also interested in knowing what you think of C#. Yeah, I don't know C#. So you guys are doing .NET Dave. Okay, Thomas Ward says, I've always preferred the Ruby and Lisp syntax. Yes, I think Ruby syntax is very elegant, and Lisp is very regular. What excuse me. Okay, more C# questions. Let's magnify. Uh, so Anders something is a cool guy. So why is this post blocked? YouTube. Okay, my eyes are starting to go cross. I need to cover it up one eye so I can see better. Lots of crazy stuff coming from Microsoft lately. .NET Core really isn't a cut down core of refactoring anymore. New applications should be built in .NET Core. Not sure. .NET Core. Pretty much, I think we'll see Microsoft do more cross-platform stuff too. Okay, that's it for today. I think. Thank you for coming. Any questions? 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds to type your question, and that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.